Hi everyone. We started with a new chapter which is chemical control and coordination. We saw the properties of hormones, the characteristics of hormones, and their different varieties, their types. We finished the last lecture with discussion about mechanism of action of these hormones. Today we will start with our first endocrine glands, which are your hypothalamus and pituitary. So hypothalamus we have already studied in our previous chapter. If you remember, when we were studying the anatomy of your brain, we discussed hypothalamus in your forebrain, and in forebrain also specifically diencephalon. So in diencephalon, the base of thalamus, okay, that is known as your hypothalamus. So this purple shaded area shown here, that whole area is known as hypothalamus. Now it contains various groups of neurosecretory cells. Pay attention to each word. Several groups of neurosecretory cells. So these are groups of cells, okay? And which type of cells are they? They are basically neurons. But these neurons are secreting something. So their name is given as neurosecretory cells. Now we know that a group of such cells, okay, a group of cyton in your CNS, in the central nervous system, is known as nuclei, right? So here the different patches that you are seeing are actually different nuclei, okay? So for example, you have this as arcuate nucleus and supraoptic nucleus, suprachiasmatic nucleus, etc. So there are a lot of such nuclei in your hypothalamus. The names are not important, okay? Only what you have to understand is there are such different nuclei where the cells, okay, the neurosecretory cells, they secrete different hormones. Clear? So these cells, they are secreting hormones. And what do these hormones do? These hormones regulate the synthesis as well as secretion of pituitary hormones. Okay, their function is to regulate the secretion as well as synthesis of hormones from your pituitary gland. We will not be studying this hypothalamus separately. As we study pituitary gland, we will keep on mentioning all the hormones secreted by your hypothalamus. Clear? So the hypothalamus in general, if you want to say, it releases two types of hormones. Okay, it secretes two types of hormones. One type is called releasing hormones and the other type is called inhibiting hormone. Releasing hormone, as the name suggests, it stimulates the pituitary to release a specific hormone. Okay, so the abbreviation will be RH. Inhibiting hormone will inhibit the pituitary. Okay, it will not allow the pituitary to secrete that hormone. So then it was written or abbreviated as IH, inhibiting hormone. This RH or releasing hormone and inhibiting hormone, they control the release of hormones by the pituitary gland. Now, how are these hormones carried to your pituitary? They can be carried by two ways. Okay, the first way which we are going to see is your hypophyseal portal system. Now, your pituitary is also known as hypophysis. Okay, hypophysis, and so this system of blood vessels is known as hypophyseal portal system. Now, if you remember in the last class, we discussed that all of these endocrine glands, they are ductless. So where is the hormone released? The hormone is directly released into your blood, right? So this portal system is nothing. It is just a special type of your circulatory system, okay? A special type of blood vessels. Okay. Now, normally, just think of your circulatory system. What happens is there? You have a main artery. The artery will break down into smaller arterioles. The arterioles further break down into capillaries, right? Now these capillaries they try and converge. Okay, after converging, they form small blood vessels called venules. Venules come together, okay, they converge and form veins, and veins converge to form your vena cava, right? So what is the trend here? The trend is that artery, it keeps on diverging, it keeps on branching till it reaches capillary stage, and veins, they keep on converging till they reach vena cava, right? So this is what should be seen all over your body. Portal system is different. Why? Here you can see the artery is entering, okay, your hypothalamus. So this is that artery, and you can see it is splitting, okay, it is branching off, which is okay, which is normal. That is what should happen. Now these arteries, they are splitting off, but um, the capillary, okay, final capillaries, they are converging and forming your portal vein, which is also fine. That is what should happen, right? Artery to capillary, capillary to vein. Now, this vein should converge with other veins, but here this vein will split into different venules and different capillaries. Okay, this is a vein which is diverging, which is branching off into different capillaries, and so this type of system is called portal system. Clear? Now all of these capillaries will again converge and form your vein, which will exit the pituitary gland. So this here is your portal system. Is it clear? Normally in your body, from capillaries, all the capillaries, they converge, they form veins, and veins converge to form vena cava. But wherever there is a portal system, the vein, okay, vein divides and forms different capillaries, and after there is some exchange of materials, these capillaries, they again converge to form a larger vein. Clear? So this here is called a portal system. Fine. So this type of portal system is seen near your hypothalamus and pituitary, so it is called hypophyseal portal system. Now, if you see here, these are the neurosecretory cells of your hypothalamic nuclei. What are they doing? They are secreting the hypothalamic hormones, okay? And these hormones are directly being added to your blood. Can you see here? So now this blood, it will travel to your pituitary, and in pituitary they will be received by the endocrine cells of pituitary gland, and then these endocrine cells will secrete another hormone. So here if you see the blue colored hormone reaching this endocrine cell of pituitary, it is stimulating that cell to secrete another hormone, which is shown here in pink. Okay, so this pituitary cell or endocrine cell will secrete that hormone, and that hormone will now reach its target organ or target tissue. Clear? Now why is this required? Like, why have this special system? So most of the hypothalamic hormones, they are only regulating your pituitary hormones. They do not have function anywhere else in the body. Okay, I'm saying most. Okay, most of your hormones of hypothalamus, they are required directly in the pituitary gland. Okay, they should not be roaming around in the whole body. So just so they do not get diluted in your whole blood, this portal system is developed. So directly from hypothalamus, the blood will carry this hormone to your pituitary. Okay, so this is a short distance transport. Clear? Chalo. Now let us talk about this pituitary, okay, which is attached to the hypothalamus. This gland you see here is your pituitary. As you can see, it is divided into two major lobes. Okay, one of them is called anterior lobe or anterior pituitary. It is also referred to as adenohypophysis. Hypophysis, I told you, it means pituitary gland. Okay, so adenohypophysis means anterior pituitary. Now this anterior pituitary is larger in size. It makes about 75% weight of the whole pituitary gland. So it is larger in size, about 75% by weight. Clear? It secretes 7 different hormones. Okay, so it is equally important. Any size મોટી છે, but એના hormones પણ વધારે secrete કરે છે. The posterior lobe or posterior pituitary is called neurohypophysis. We will see later on why it is called neurohypophysis when we discuss posterior pituitary. Okay. Okay. It is made up of neural tissue and it releases 2 hormones, ADH or antidiuretic hormone and oxytocin. Now continuing about this pituitary gland, it is ectodermal in origin. Okay, just like your nervous system, which is also ectodermal, this pituitary gland is also ectodermal in origin. Actually, this is just a fun fact. Okay, your pituitary gland does not generate here. Okay, it is not originating from here directly. It actually originates from your mouth, and from that mouth it keeps on extending in embryonic stage, of course, and then that tissue, that cells, they attach to your hypothalamus, and a bone is formed between mouth and this cavity. Okay, and that is how your pituitary is actually formed. Chalo. Right. So this pituitary, if you notice, it is surrounded by this bone, right? So this bone is called sphenoid bone. Okay, and this cavity is called sella turcica. This here, whatever you are seeing, the whole bone is called sphenoid bone, and that cavity you see is called sella turcica. In that sella turcica, the pituitary gland is present. It is attached to hypothalamus through a stalk, which is known as infundibulum. Okay, this small stalk-like structure which connects the hypothalamus to your pituitary is known as infundibulum. This pituitary is anatomically divided into adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary. Now, when we look at different mammals, so mammals have 3 parts in their pituitary. They are referred to, or 3 lobes in their pituitary. They are referred to as pars distalis, pars media, and pars nervosa. However, pars media, which is the middle lobe, is almost fused with our anterior lobe. Okay, it is not separately showing. So we include it in anterior pituitary. We do not see that extra lobe separately. Okay, so adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary is made up of this pars distalis and pars media. Fine. And neurohypophysis or posterior pituitary is made up of the infundibulum part as well as the pars nervosa. Clear? So this is what you have to remember. In different mammals, the pituitary has 3 lobes: pars distalis, pars media, pars nervosa. In case of humans, the pars media, which is the middle lobe, is almost fused with the anterior lobe. Clear? And hence together pars distalis and pars media are known as adenohypophysis or anterior pituitary. The neurohypophysis, posterior pituitary, or which is also known as pars nervosa, is the second part, okay, or the second lobe of your pituitary. Clear? Chalo. So these are the different, this is the portal system we just saw, okay, and these will be the different hormones. The anterior hormone secreting all of these, and the posterior pituitary, which will be secreting ADH as well as oxytocin. Let us start with your anterior pituitary, and the first hormone we will talk about is growth hormone. As I had told you, we will not be discussing hypothalamus separately, but with each of the pituitary hormone, wherever it is connected, we will be talking about the pituitary hypothalamic hormone. Okay. So here the hormone from hypothalamus is growth hormone releasing hormone, GHRH. So when from hypothalamus GHRH is secreted, this secretion will stimulate the pituitary to secrete growth hormone. Clear? So, who is taking the decision? The decision is taken by our hypothalamus. Hypothalamus will secrete growth hormone releasing hormone, and this growth hormone releasing hormone will stimulate your anterior pituitary to secrete growth hormone. Clear? Chalo. Now, there is also an inhibiting hormone secreted by your hypothalamus. This is known as growth hormone inhibiting hormone or somatostatin. Okay, somatostatin, remember the name? We will also come across this name when we discuss pancreas. Okay, so growth hormone inhibiting hormone or somatostatin, it inhibits the secretion of growth hormone. It will not allow secretion of growth hormone. Clear? So these are the two hypothalamic hormones which are regulating or controlling your anterior pituitary. Now let us understand what happens after secretion of growth hormone. Okay, what are the effects of growth hormone on growth? Because its name only is having the term growth. So we want to see what all growth it is talking about. First thing is it promotes elongation of bones. So in children below the age of 18, the lengthwise what you can say development, okay, is because of growth hormone. So growth hormone, it promotes elongation of bones. How is this elongation going to happen? So very quickly, let us just go through it. This is the structure of bone of a baby. Okay. In this immature bone, you can see this blue part. This blue part is actually made up of cartilages. Okay. And it is known as growth plate. Now what will happen when growth hormone will start acting on this growth plate? The cartilage will start becoming more and more ossified. Okay, the cartilage will start turning into bone, as you can see here. Can you see? Okay, and day by day, as the age increases in the mature bone, we just have very little growth plate. Otherwise, whole of the bone has been converted into osteocytes. Okay, so from chondrocytes, which are the cartilage cells, osteocytes or bone cells are being made at growth plate. This process takes place under the effect of growth hormone. Okay, so this is what growth hormone will do. It will cause elongation, okay, addition of cells and elongation of bones. So from immature bone, this is the final length of the bone of mature bone. Okay. This also you must have heard in babies, they are born with holes in their skull, right? So there is some parts of the body where the bones are not really synthesized. Okay, they are yet to be formed. So that is there. Then their bones are also not fused. So day by day they keep on fusing and they keep on elongating. That is how babies grow into adults. Second thing is growth hormone. It promotes mitosis. Okay, it promotes cell division. It increases the number of cells in many visceral organs. So if you compare a baby's liver or a baby's heart and then you compare an adult's heart or liver, then you see the difference in size, right? How is this size increasing? Of course, by addition of new cells. Okay, so growth hormone is the one which will promote this addition of new cells or cell division in visceral organs like liver. It also stimulates growth of muscle and cartilage. Okay, we just discussed cartilage here. So it will also stimulate the growth of muscles, right? So when as you keep on growing, as your bone keeps on growing, then along with the bones, you also require muscle to let us say play, sing, write, run, right? Everything. So all of this is also taken care of by growth hormone. Fine, this is physical growth we are talking about. Now let us see what are the effects of growth hormone on metabolism, right? So we will start with fat. Growth hormone increases lipolysis. Lipo means lipids, okay, fats. Lysis means breakdown. So lipolysis means breakdown of fat, as you can see here. Okay, so the fatty tissue or adipose tissue will decrease in size, will decrease in number. Okay, why? Because all of this stored fat is used for energy, right? And this energy, as you keep on utilizing fat for energy, the amount will keep on decreasing, right? So it increases lipolysis. It increases the preference of fat for energy purpose instead of carbohydrate. Normally, what do we understand? We think that carbohydrate or glucose is a preferred compound from which we should get energy, right? We should get ATP. But growth hormone, it does ulta. What is it doing? It is using fat. Okay, it is telling the body to use fat for generation of ATP. Okay, and it is sparing the glucose. It is not allowing, or it is not preferring carbohydrate to be used. Now, what are the effects of growth hormone on carbohydrate? It does not, or it decreases the uptake of glucose in the cells. The cells, it will not allow the cells to take up glucose. So what will happen if the cells are not taking up glucose? Then the amount of glucose in your blood will increase. है ना? You have eaten, let us say, food, and now from this food all the glucose is present in your blood. This glucose should enter all the cells of your body for energy, but because of growth hormone they cannot enter the cells. If this glucose cannot enter the cell, it will keep on increasing inside the blood. When you have high blood glucose, this is called diabetes, right? So this growth hormone is a diabetogenic hormone. Diabetogenic matlab it is causing what you can say symptoms which are similar to diabetes. But you shouldn't worry too much. It is not directly causing anything like diabetes. Okay, it is just causing high blood glucose, and this high blood glucose is actually in turn used by your brain only. So for your brain's development, glucose is necessary. So what is growth hormone doing? It is telling the whole body to shift on fat so that only your brain can use glucose. Okay, मन का विकास हो, दिमाग का विकास हो, इसलिए it will spare that glucose for your brain. Fine. On protein now. So growth hormone, it increases amino acid uptake by the cells. Okay. So जो भी cells है, they will start taking up the amino acid from your blood, and this amino acid will be taken up by liver, it will be taken up by muscle, and muscle जैसे ही amino acid अंदर लेगा, it will start synthesizing proteins, and this proteins will help in muscle development. Clear? So these are the effects of growth hormone on metabolism. Now let us discuss some problems or diseases related to growth hormone. If there is hyposecretion, secretion the meaning you know, right? Hypo means less. Wherever you want to say less or below, you say hypo. So hyposecretion of growth hormone, which means that there is less secretion of growth hormone or deficiency of growth hormone in childhood or adolescence, which means from let us say age 1 to 10 or age 1 to 16. During this time, if there is deficiency of growth hormone, dwarfism is observed. Okay, so the bones they will not grow, the body parts they will not grow. So in turn what will happen is the size or the length, okay, height of that human being will remain small. So this is called a dwarfism. Okay, this dwarf word you may have heard in that fairy tale, Cinderella, no, Snow White and Seven Dwarfs. Okay, so dwarf is basically somebody who is shorter in height because of deficiency of growth hormone. Clear? Now, exact opposite can also take place. Let us say there is hypersecretion of growth hormone. Hypersecretion matlab there is excess secretion of growth hormone. This hypersecretion of growth hormone during childhood is known as gigantism. Okay, giant, have you heard of giant, right? So from the term giant comes the this specific name called gigantism. Clear? Gigantism meaning the person will be extremely tall. Okay, the bones grow very long, the height of that person increases very much, and the body becomes imbalanced. Right now, because of this long bones and increased height, the muscles and everything else cannot support this height. So this person normally has some back issues, neck issues. Okay, and as here also you can see that this person is carrying a walking stick because they have some balance issues. Fine. So gigantism, it takes place when growth hormone is in excess during childhood. Remember this much. Now, let us say what happens if growth hormone is increasing during your adulthood, that is after 18 years. Okay, if after 18 years of age there is increased production of growth hormone, it leads to something called as acromegaly. Fine. So, this acromegaly, what are the symptoms? Have you ever seen Kali? Right? So Kali, if you notice, he has this chin, okay, which is coming out, this lower jaw. The lower jaw juts out. ये जो नीचे का हनुआ होता है वो एकदम बाहर निकल के आता है, right? So this is because the bones here, they keep on growing, okay, and this leads to that enlarged lower jaw. Fine. So there is this severe disfigurement even on the ridges of the eyebrows. Do you see? Okay, this disfigurement. So the फिर उंगलियों पे दिखता है, ऐसे आड़ी टेढ़ी थोड़ी हो जाती है उंगलियां. Okay, because of acromegaly. So bones of face, then bones of vertebral column, forelimbs. Forelimbs मतलब हाथ. Okay, so all of these bones, they show disfigurement. मतलब अपना जो भी ओरिजिनल साइज एंड शेप होता है वो it becomes disfigured. अभी क्यों ऐसा होता है? तो let me just show you this diagram, है ना? Now let us say this is an adult bone. अब ये adult bone ज़्यादा grow नहीं कर सकता. Okay, it has reached its maximum capacity. All it can do is maybe heal a fracture or two, है ना? Now what happens when even more and more growth hormone is still provided? The bone, it starts growing girth wise. Okay, वो थोड़ा मोटा होता जाएगा. And when that happens, the fingers, the hands, everything becomes more stubby. Okay, so that is what will be the result in case of acromegaly. Clear? Chalo. Now let us talk about hormone number 2. This hormone is called thyroid stimulating hormone. Till now, we have seen two hormones of hypothalamus: growth hormone releasing hormone, growth hormone inhibiting hormone. We have seen one hormone from anterior pituitary called growth hormone. Now we are seeing the second hormone called thyroid stimulating hormone. Thyrotropin releasing hormone called TRH by hypothalamus. It stimulates the pituitary to secrete thyroid stimulating hormone or TSH. Most of the hormones which have stimulating hormone written to it, okay, written behind it, stimulating hormone SH, are from your pituitary, and RH are from your hypothalamus. Clear? So here you can see hypothalamus is secreting TRH. TRH is stimulating anterior pituitary to secrete TSH. Now this TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, as the name itself is suggesting, what is it doing? It is stimulating the thyroid gland. What will thyroid gland do? It will increase in size, the cell number will also increase, and it will start synthesizing more and more thyroxine hormone. After it has synthesized thyroxine hormone, it will also secrete this thyroxine hormone. Clear? So thyroxine hormone, you can include it as T3, T4. We shall see this in detail when we discuss thyroid gland. Most of these, what you can say, regulation or the path that you see, it is known as hypothalamus pituitary organ axis. Okay, axis. So this is hypothalamus pituitary organ axis. In before, also we have seen the same. You have releasing hormone, stimulating hormone, and the final organ. Same way, this trend will continue. So just have an eye open for this. Okay, you have hypothalamus secreting a releasing hormone, which will be stimulating your pituitary, and pituitary will release some stimulating hormone. This stimulating hormone will be affecting some organ. Okay, target organ. So this here is known as HPO axis. Okay, hypothalamus pituitary organ axis. The third hormone is adrenocorticotropic hormone. Adrenocorticotropic hormone. Now, the hormone from hypothalamus is known as corticotropin releasing hormone. CRH, corticotropin releasing hormone. Why it is known as corticotropin releasing hormone? Because your adrenocorticotropic hormone is also known as corticotropin. Fine. So apart from stimulating hormone, all the tropic hormones are also secreted by your pituitary. Fine. Okay. So this CRH will stimulate your pituitary to secrete adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH. Now this ACTH that you see here, it will stimulate the adrenal cortex, adrenal glands, the cortex of adrenal gland, which means this, okay, the yellow portion, the periphery. It stimulates this adrenal cortex to secrete in mainly glucocorticoids. Okay, we shall see when we discuss adrenal glands. There are different hormones secreted by the adrenal cortex, and from all of these, the most affected hormone because of ACTH is glucocorticoids. Okay, or cortisol. Fine. So this is the third hormone. Let us talk about a sister hormone. Okay, when ACTH is synthesized, at the same time, another hormone called melanocyte stimulating hormone is also synthesized. Okay, it is a part of the same peptide. So this MSH is secreted by the middle lobe. But as we have already discussed, that in human, this pars intermedia is almost, or pars media is almost merged with the pars distalis. That is, we can conclude that MSH is secreted by your anterior pituitary only. Okay. MSH is also known as intermedin because it is secreted by your pars media. It stimulates melanocytes. Melanocytes are the cells which secrete melanin. Melanin is a compound which gives your skin color. Okay, and this is true for all different animals. Okay, so it stimulates the melanocytes. The melanocytes, they synthesize melanin in mammals, but their role specifically in human is under scrutiny. Okay, they are still understanding whether MSH has any major effect in humans or not. Here, just I wanted to share this. You can see this is the same rabbit. You might not believe it, but it is the same rabbit. Okay, have you ever heard of dogs having winter coat and summer coat? Right? Same way, here also. In summer, this rabbit turns brown in color. Okay, why? Because it has to camouflage, it has to match its surrounding. The same rabbit in winter, it becomes white. Why? Because it has to match with the snow. Okay, it has to blend in with the snow. So this is how you can see the differences. Okay, and these things are maintained by your MSH. Okay, your melanocyte stimulating hormone. It is also related with change in color of skin in amphibians, okay, in frogs, then reptiles. So in different chameleons and different types of reptiles, you see them changing color. That is because of melanocyte stimulating hormone. That actually occurs in real time, meaning as soon as they reach some other color, their body starts sensing that color and changing into that color, right? So this color changing phenomena in that case is immediate, and it is known as metachrosis. Okay, metachrosis. Fine. Let us talk about the next hormone, which is follicle stimulating hormone. If you remember even a little bit of your human reproductive system, you must have heard of this term follicle, right? So follicle stimulating hormone, the term follicle comes from there. The hypothalamus secretes a hormone called gonadotropin releasing hormone. Okay, gonadotropin releasing hormone, GnRH. This GnRH will go, as you can see here, okay, this GnRH will go to the anterior pituitary, and it will stimulate this anterior pituitary to secrete FSH, follicle stimulating hormone. In males, this FSH stimulates spermatogenesis. Okay, so formation of gametes in general is because of this FSH hormone, and normal functioning of the seminiferous tubules. Seminiferous tubules are present in your testis, and inside the testis, when you take a cross section, you can see spermatogenesis. Okay, in females, it stimulates oogenesis, okay, which is formation of the female gamete and development of this Graafian follicle. Okay, so from that follicle only it is getting the name follicle stimulating hormone. Estrogen hormone, as you may recall, is also secreted by the Graafian follicle. So you can say indirectly it is also causing release of estrogen. Clear? So here is a follicle stimulating hormone. It will cause this development of Graafian follicle. The Graafian follicle secretes high levels of estrogen. Okay, so this is how the whole pathway is seen. As I had told you, if you notice, here is your hypothalamus. So hypothalamus, pituitary organ axis, right? This trend is maintained. Its sister hormone. So follicle stimulating hormone, it does not act alone. Okay, it has a sister hormone, which is known as luteinizing hormone. At puberty, okay, the previous one, follicle stimulating hormone, also starts getting secreted at puberty. So at puberty, gonadotropin releasing hormone, so the same hormone, okay, from hypothalamus, stimulates the pituitary to secrete luteinizing hormone. Okay, hypothalamus, GnRH, goes to pituitary, causes release of your luteinizing hormone or LH. Now this LH stimulates ovulation in females. So the development of Graafian follicle is because of FSH. Ovulation is because of LH. Now when ovulation takes place, the ovum or the egg cell has been released. The rest of the follicle turns into corpus luteum. This corpus luteum is a group of cells which secrete progesterone. So this is how luteinizing hormone and progesterone are related. In men, it is also known as interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Okay, in men, LH is known as ICSH, interstitial cell stimulating hormone. Why? Because it affects these Leydig cell or interstitial cells. Okay, and what do these interstitial cells do? They secrete testosterone. Okay, so indirectly or directly, you can say that it is causing the release of testosterone as shown here. Clear? FSH and LH, they act together, and so they are called synergistic hormones. Okay, they are sister hormones, they act together. Then another hormone, the last hormone from your anterior pituitary, is called prolactin. In the name only you have this term lactin, or if you remember from your biochemistry, lactose, right? Lactose is a milk sugar. So from that you can remember this prolactin being related to milk. Okay, prolactin is responsible for lactation. Lactation is formation of milk in the mammary glands. Okay, so it will just cause formation of milk. In postpartum is after childbirth in women. It is also termed as lactogenic hormone or mammotropin hormone. These are just some few names of prolactin. Okay, lactogenic hormone and mammotropin hormone. You can see here that the prolactin from your pituitary, it will go to the mammary glands. It will cause the synthesis of milk, okay, from the mammary glands. we shall see that this is not enough. Okay, just the synthesis of milk is not enough. For the milk to reach the baby, we require one more hormone, which is called oxytocin. Okay, oxytocin is the one which will squeeze the mammary glands, okay, and release the milk, right? So now we are done with the 7 different hormones from your anterior pituitary. The next hormone we are studying is, or the next part rather we are studying is posterior pituitary, also known as neurohypophysis. The posterior lobe of pituitary is just 1/4 part, this much small part of your pituitary gland. The axon terminals, now these are the cell bodies that you can see inside hypothalamus. Okay, so these cell bodies are in hypothalamus, but their axons are coming up till the posterior pituitary, right? So because of this, the posterior pituitary is called neurohypophysis. Okay, neuro because it is directly connected to these nerve cells. So the axon terminals of neurosecretory cells open in hypothalamus. The posterior pituitary hormones are not synthesized in posterior pituitary. This is important, and I checked in your textbook, it has been given like this. So I'm very happy. These hormones are actually synthesized by your hypothalamic neurons. Okay, these neurons will synthesize these hormones, but the hormones will travel down through the axons, and they will be secreted into the blood capillary in this region of posterior pituitary. Okay, so they are synthesized in hypothalamus, secreted by the posterior pituitary. That is how it is written. Fine. Okay, so 2 hormones from your posterior pituitary. The first hormone is known as vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone. Now let us first understand why it is called antidiuretic hormone. Because it acts on kidneys. Now let us say that there are some receptors in your hypothalamus, okay, which are known as osmoreceptors. They measure the osmolarity of blood. So they will realize that, oh, there is less amount of water in your blood. The osmolarity or concentration of solute has increased in the blood. So what will it do? It will, first thing it will do is trigger the thirst response. This thirst response is related to your nervous system, but I just thought of including it here, okay, in explanation. So first thing, when your hypothalamus thinks that, oh, our blood does not have enough water, it will ask you to start drinking water. Okay, it will make you thirsty. The second thing it does is it starts secretion of ADH. Now this ADH hormone will enter the blood vessel. It will reach your nephrons. Okay. Now in your nephrons, there is distal convoluted tubule known as DCT and this collecting duct. This ADH or antidiuretic hormone will cause reabsorption of water from these DCT and collecting duct. So what will happen? Your urine will be concentrated, okay, and your blood volume will increase. So now there is enough water in your blood. Why? Because you absorbed all the water from the urine, okay. So this is how it will act on the nephrons in the kidneys. Okay, it will cause reabsorption of water from distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. This is why it is also known as antidiuretic hormone. Diuresis. Okay, uresis means to urinate. Diuresis literally means dilute urine. Okay, so dilute urine. Now, the name of the hormone is antidiuretic hormone, which means it will not allow the urine to become diluted. Okay, when can you say a solution is dilute? When it has a lot of water. But here we are absorbing water from the urine. So, your urine is no longer diluted. So, it is also known as antidiuretic hormone. Clear? Your urine will not be dilute. That is what is literally meant by this hormone. Antidiuretic hormone. Now, the other name of this hormone is also vasopressin. Why? Because it contracts the blood vessels. Think of it like this. Have you ever used a garden pipe, okay, for watering the plants? If you put a thumb on the hole, okay, of that pipe, when the water is flowing, the water will flow forcefully, right? Same thing. Let us say there is less water in your blood. What will happen? The blood, okay, it will not be flowing according to its force. Okay, it will not be very forcefully flowing. But to reach each and every cell of your body, the blood has to be flowing at some force, right? So to maintain that force, when the blood volume is less, that is, there is less water in the blood, the blood vessels, they contract, they squeeze a little. When they squeeze a little, the force again increases, and now your blood is able to reach each and every part of your body. So this is why the hormone is also known as vasopressin. Vaso comes from blood vessel, okay, vessel. Pressin means to contract. So it causes the contraction of blood vessels, and hence it is also known as vasopressin. So as you can see, vasopressin or antidiuretic hormone, its main role is to bring back the water level inside your blood. Okay. Hyposecretion, that is, if this ADH secretion is very, very less, then what will happen? Now there is no control. Okay. This ADH is not present. So your urine will be dilute. Okay. So there will be diuresis. Hyposecretion causes the disease which is known as diabetes insipidus. Now here it is important to remember there are two types of diabetes: diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Mellitus is because of high blood glucose. Insipidus is because of hyposecretion of vasopressin. Clear? Why these both of them were called diabetes is because their symptoms are somewhat similar. The symptoms are polyuria. Polyuria means frequent urination. Okay. Now because there is a lot of dilute urine being synthesized, you will require to urinate frequently. So this is known as poly. Poly means many and urea means urine. Okay. So many times you have to urinate. That is polyuria. Then the urine is diluted because antidiuretic hormone is absent. There will be dehydration. Why is there dehydration? Because the blood, the water from the blood is being excreted in form of urine. So you feel dehydrated. Because you are dehydrated, what will your hypothalamus do? It will tell you to drink more and more water. Okay, so you will feel thirsty. This thirsty is known as polydipsia. There will also be low blood pressure. I told you about that force, about that pressure. If you have a garden pipe, it should have some pressure so that we can water the plants. Same way, your blood vessels also should have some pressure, okay, of the blood flowing so that it can reach each and every part of your body. If there is less water in the blood, then you will face low blood pressure. Clear? The pressure nahi banega blood mein. So this low blood pressure or hypotension can also be a symptom for diabetes insipidus. Clear? Intake of coffee, tea, and excess alcohol decreases the secretion of ADH. So, for excessive coffee drinkers or tea drinkers or some alcoholics, what happens to them? You must have heard or you must have seen or experienced, even I say, that if you drink a lot of tea or coffee, you have to frequently go to the bathroom, right? Why? Because this antidiuretic hormone is absent. So, your urine will be dilute, okay, and frequently you will have to urinate. So, this is vasopressin. We will see another hormone just doing the opposite function of vasopressin, okay, when we talk about your adrenal cortex. So remember that. Okay. Now the last hormone from your pituitary is called oxytocin. Oxytocin is also known as parturition hormone. Parturition means childbirth. Okay. So it stimulates rapid contractions of your uterine muscles. So these are the uterine muscles of uterus, okay, of womb. So these muscles, they rapidly contract and they relax. They contract and they relax, and that is how the baby is pushed out. Okay, so this pushing of the baby by contraction and relaxation of these smooth muscles, takes place by oxytocin. Because of these uterine contractions only, the labor pains start just before childbirth. After birth, it helps in milk letdown. So I told you this during prolactin. Okay, prolactin will cause synthesis of milk, but it will not release the milk. Release of milk will occur, or ejection of milk will occur only through help of oxytocin, right? So oxytocin will do what? It will squeeze the lobules in the mammary glands which contain milk, and when that squeezing action happens, the milk will be let down, okay, and it can enter the baby's mouth. So this function is also done by oxytocin. Now, just some fun facts about oxytocin. It is also known as love hormone. Why? Because in families and couples and mothers and children who are close to each other, okay, they are very emotionally, physically attached to each other. They have seen that they have higher levels of oxytocin. Okay, so this oxytocin is also known as love hormone. It also has some other functions in smooth muscle contraction, like in male ejaculation, also it is responsible. But the main function here is parturition and milk letdown. So that is what we have discussed. Here we end your first two glands, which are hypothalamus and pituitary. Okay, these are the brief, the table. Okay, now this is what I want you to do. आपके ही अच्छे के लिए, आपके ही quick revision के लिए, make such a table. Okay, draw a table. You of course, some of these information are not required for you, so do not focus on that. What I'm trying to tell you is, make a table, write down the name of the hormone. Okay, then the hypothalamic releasing hormone. So which is the hypothalamic hormone which is causing the release of this pituitary hormone? For example, you have growth hormone, which is secreted by action of growth hormone releasing hormone, right? So write down all of those hormones here related to hypothalamus whenever there is a hormone. Okay, so the pituitary hormone, the hypothalamic hormone causing the release of pituitary hormone, then hypothalamic hormone which is inhibiting the release of this pituitary hormone, and finally make a column where you write down brief function of these hormones. Okay, for example, if I want to say vasopressin, just write down 2 points. First thing, it causes blood vessel contraction. Second thing, it causes water reabsorption from urine. This much is it. Clear? So this is what I want you to do. Okay, it will make your life easier later on. Remember me. Chalo. So we end the lecture today and see you tomorrow with the next endocrine gland.